Hello guys, good night. So today I will try to discuss about revise. This is a revision for me. So to be savvy, I record and try to share. So this is neurosurgery topics about EVD, extra of how to care of the EVD, how to monitor patient positioning and management, neurology assessments, and related lah. So CSF Extraventricular systems is CSF cerebrospinal fluid is a colorless pure fluid produced by the choroid plexus. So in the third and fourth ventricle we have choroid plexus which produce the CSF, and the function is it's like cushion. It's like when you imagine egg, the yolk in the white egg. It's like that lah. It's a cushion that support for the brain and spinal cord. For the brain and spinal cord. So the CSF support it, cushion it. It's like floating there. So it's about 500 to 600 milliliter milk CSF produced daily. In our system. So and then 100 to 150, 125 to 150 mils we circulates in the ventricular system and subarachnoid space at one time, and the remainder is reabsorbed back. The brain has 4 CSF field and interconnected ventricles. So you need to relate to the anatomy of the ventricles. 4 field interconnected ventricles here, right? Third ventricles, fourth ventricles, interventricles. Alright, and the lateral ventricles have 2. Alright. Next. So the cerebral perfusion pressure. What you know about this is like a pressure at which the brain is perfused. What I mean by that? I mean that 20% of the cardiac output will go to the brain. To help perfuse the brain, to maintain the brain tissue to stay, to have enough oxygen. That means to make us alive and function. So that's why if the brain is not enough perfused and the blood is not enough circulate to the brain, because the brain with tissue will infarct. Sometimes it will infarctions. We call it brain death, brain ischemia, and then it affects the function, of the neurology, and even can deteriorate the brain stem and will compromise our respiratory system and cardiac system. So the normal cerebral perfusion pressure is like around 60 to 80 mmHg pressure. So we want to keep it this high. If less, will result in ischemia and tissue death. If less, that is occasion that cause less oxygen to the brain, ischemia and tissue death, and affect the patients. We don't want that. We want to maintain at the 60 to 80. So the extraventricular drainage, also known as ventriculostomy or extraventricular drain, is a device used in neurosurgery patient. Usually we treat to treat the hydrocephalus patient and to relieve the elevated ICP pressure when the normal flow of CSF inside the brain is obstructed. So usually we go to the case refer to us, and then we see and is it a fit candidate for the surgery. If fit and is a good case, then we proceed for EVD drainage insertion. It's a device that insert into the brain, into the intracranial fill space to to relieve the pressure by means of to connect the fluid, the CSF, to flow into the abdomen. Okay, into the abdomen, into the abdomen usually. So usually the surgery is straightforward. First we drill the intracranial and put the tube there, and then we drill first, and then we connect to the abdomen. It's like quite straightforward. So circulation of CSF for the carotid plexus, okay, it will circulate into the 4 ventricles. Okay, fill, and then we go and then circulate there. Alright, and then from the by the aperture, we circulate around the stem, go to the sinus, right, to the sinus, along the way. It's not the sinus, sorry, it's the space, okay, between the brain and the peritoneum. Alright, and then it's cushion the brain. You can see, right? It's cushion the brain. Usually for the shock, for the impact, but it's not for the. It's not for the severe lah. Usually for the minimal one. Okay. And then for the EVD, okay, like I said, okay, we put the tube, drill, and then put in the ventricles space, in which to reduce the pressure here, okay, to reduce the pressure, because it's constant formation. Usually sometimes because of the infections, okay, we produce the CSF excessive, extra, so we go into the tube, and then we usually for that case we will connect to the abdomen down there. This is like for some emergency traumas. Usually we want to reduce the pressure because of the clinical symptoms, so we put into the EVD device, okay, the probe, ICP probe, okay, to pressure, to know the pressure and to relieve, so as to functions, okay, and you maintain the pressure at some level, okay, and once pressure improve, we can off it. Alright, so the ICP monitoring is a diagnostic, okay, that help to determine if high or low CSF pressure is causing the symptoms. So the test measure the pressure in the head directly using small pressure sensitive probe, okay, usually that inserted to the skull, okay, by usually by experience we can understand how to insert the skull into the skull, okay, correctly, because if we put this the out of the range, it will touch the brainstem, so the patient will problems, okay. Normal ICP readings usually we need to maintain around 5 to 15, okay, around that, and patient to be in ICU usually, alright, in the ICU or in the acute cubicle to be monitored. And the staff nurse also play the important role to maintain the reading by make sure the angle of the bed, make sure the height of the pressure ICP is maintained. If not, it's not serve the function. So ICP is exerted by brain contents, okay. What is the brain contents? Brain tissue, fluids and blood, okay. This causing pressure to the brain, right? Exerted by the brain, sorry. Brain will have the pressure ICP by these three. So need to maintain it. Okay, we call it some mechanism to maintain. Okay, we call autoregulation to maintain adequate cerebral perfusion by cerebral vessels, constriction and dilation. Impaired with brain injury and cerebral blood flow become passively dependent on the blood pressure. So we have the Morochellis. Okay, what is Morochellis? One of the components increase will be offset, equal decrease in one of others. So usually if like swelling of the brain tissue will compromise the other two, right? So we need to do something. Okay, method of ICP monitoring. Okay, ventriculostomy. So this is the intracranial pressure, the range. The adults usually like 10 to 15, 20, and then young children 3 to 7, infant 1.5 to 6, right? So this is the ICP waveforms. It's normal compliance, P1, P2, P3, and this decreased compliance. It's not same. It's like a trading charts. I don't know, but you need to remember this. Okay, this reducing waveform, reduce waveform, beautiful wave. So indication of EVD. What kind of a case that we need of EVD and ICP monitoring? Usually like hydrocephalus, straightforward hydrocephalus. Okay, hemorrhage, meningitis, infection. Okay, infection will increase the CSF formation by the cells, by the inflammation. Okay, and traumatic brain injuries, how? Okay, bleeding, everything, tissue injury, swelling, and the tumor also we sometimes we need EVD also and CPMT if effects and clinical symptoms is there, right? So what is the sign and symptoms? Because the patient like confusion, headache, increased blood pressure, nausea, shallow breathing. Okay, the most is headache. Okay, headache is an important symptoms of increased ICP, headache and confusion. Okay, right. So the sign of Cushing is very important, triad. So hypertension, we need to monitor. We need to think when the patient of the brain trauma, when the blood pressure is raised for persistently. So one of it is Cushing triad with Brady and Brady. Yeah. So maybe need to do something. So the advantage is of the EVD, a low treatment of ICP increased by direct removal of CSF. This is therapeutic, and the main disadvantage is have infections, enterocolitis, 10 to 20%. Okay, if keep more than 5 days, usually we not more, a week lah, usually a week. A week we try to maintain, and if patient has infection symptom, we start antibiotic and withdraw the fluid to send for culture and sensitivity, and need to do under what we call it, septic technique. Right. So what is EVD complications? Okay, EVD complications. Usually the ICP may be lost or absent the waveform, so maybe to the air bubbles, clots, okay, or in the drainage. So we need to flushing. So infection also may affect by the EVD. Okay, manipulation and access to the drainage can be solved for contamination. What we generally know that infection, when the skin is break, there is a connection between the outside to into our bodies. It will be a source of infection, contamination can happen. Okay, although we try to aseptic technique as maintain as possible, but still the infection can happen. And so the sterility is very important of the ventricular catheter. Usually the sterility will be compromised, although we sometimes try to maintain it. And Neurosurgery EVD tubing should be obtained and connected, and okay, to do something lah. Usually we send the CSF culture and sensitivity, so that when we send the culture and sensitivity, we can start antibiotic right away lah, to help the patient. So there are also over drainage. Okay, there's can usually with pediatric patient can happen this thing lah, because sometimes there is negligence by the care, maybe by the nurse, because they do not know how to care. Sometimes neglected, parent also doesn't know, so can happen. The pediatric patient is more acceptable to this complication. So family patient education is very important to always maintain the bed position. Okay, because raising or reduce can result in less increase in CSF drainage. This is very fatal or very bad, can happen. Alright, so clamp, okay, need to do. Okay, so what the care of the patient with EVD and ICP monitoring? Usually we elevate head, okay, about usually it's 30 degree. I always when I go to ICU and when I look for the patient, I will try to make sure it's 30 degree. Okay, the range 15 to 30, so it has range of elevation of head that need to maintain to promote the venous return and to avoid neck flexion and prevent obstruction to the vein jugular. And then also level of transducer to reference point at the external auditory meatus, so correlated with the foramen Monro. Okay, the leveling at this reference point will deliver an accurate ICP waveform. Yes. Okay, so okay, alright. Level of transducers, when you manage for basis as resident or trainee, you will know it's like basic. Okay, but it's important to the patient. Okay, imagine it's your son or your parents, and then adjust the flow at the 10 to 15 centimeter above the extra auditory meatus. Okay, to drain out CSF via gravity to maintain ICP less than 20. To pull flow if flow chamber too high, the drain will less. It's too low, over drainage. So it's important to always, especially to nurse, to check with the doctor. Okay, the performing surgeon, always check. Don't neglect your patient. And then perform calibration and zeroing of transducer to remove hydrostatic effect. Okay, transducer, right? And then the re-zero with each head position change. Yep. Perform the calibration always. Not always, but at times when you manage the patient, you know that the probe is not function. Okay, the tube is like obstruct, so you need to do something, but do it aseptic with supervised by your colleague or your boss. Care of external EVD, perform a proper hand hygiene, of course, the PPE, everything lah. So this is the basic thing. Maintain closed system. Do not open. If you open this VV, it's not connect. You need to close systems to connect the system for the brain to the tube. So check fluctuation, change dressing, connections. Okay, all the connection is tight, not leaking. Do not flush. That is the important thing. Do not flush without your senior, without your supervisor. Okay. Don't do something crazy to your patient. Okay. So EVD should be temporary clamp. Okay. During transport. Why? To prevent excessive CSF drainage, to maintain the closed system. And the closed system, it doesn't affect the flow. And then monitor and record CSF drainage hourly. If more than 50, to inform doctor. Okay, ml per hour. Inform doctor to prevent overdrain. And when to collect, then patient will withdraw. Monitor the sign and symptoms of infection. Okay, EVD catheter, observe the site of the insertion at the usually at the at the head, at the side of the head. Ada surgical infection, ada surgical infection. Okay, both of the head and the abdomen, and observe myocardial of CSF, and monitor sign of ICP high. So if such that sign like deteriorating of GCS, increase systolic blood pressure, widen pulse pressure, abnormal palpitation, and other things, so need to inform quickly as possible, directly, and to do something. Really, we try to tackle it either by medical therapy or by need to surgery. Okay. Maintain the ICP less than 20, CPP 60 to 70, MMP 90 to 120, and CVP 8 to 12 hourly, and monitor serum electrolytes sodium level. So document record amount of CSF hourly, color, characteristic, and inform doctor in charge. Okay, practice in neuro ICU. This is usually like the common we call it the common dressing. Okay, usually we label there is no bone here. Alright, so this one is very sterile, and need to use the sterile glove to touch and to maneuver these things. Dressing are changed routinely every 72 hours, and pronto if dressing become damp or otherwise, ordered by the physician or by the surgeon in charge. Conclusion: so the patient EVD need to have CSF output monitor hourly. Okay, hourly the CSF, so we know it's normal range, not overdrains everything. EVD carry high risk of infection, of course. This is the most common thing, infection. So to maintain asepsis and regular assess the patient's vitals and everything, especially vitals. Usually we put the patient in the ICU or in the cubicles. So assess patient consciousness is the GCS level, glucose coma score, is crucial to identify neurological deterioration early, and also to assess if patient is conscious. We assess the cranial nerve, okay, signs. Alright, thank you. So I hope this video with about EVD we help you to understand a bit the basic thing, okay, how to manage and what is it. Okay, so you get the idea before you further read in detail from your textbook or from your CME class. Alright, okay, have fun, happy weekend to everyone. Okay, thank you.